Let's go.
Wednesday afternoon.
So, what could really be going? I mean, we know Madrid is a good side. I mean, I looked at the stats last night, and they are actually ahead of Barcelona in the La Liga league. So I think about 5 points ahead of Barcelona. So Barcelona is actually third place, and that's their closest rival. But Manchester City, what's the way back? Because, all right, so they've bought this guy called Gonzalez. I can't remember. Is it Nico Gonzalez? I think it was.
I'm not sure.
Yeah. So during the transfer window, they signed Nico Gonzalez, and I thought, well, okay, so that's some firing power there. But it just seemed to be the same old story.
Didn't work.
It still looks like a defensive problem, because if you're Haaland is doing his job up front. He scored 2 goals.
Yeah, he is.
But they're not defending the 2 goals, are they? They're not defending.
No, they're not.
They're not defending the goals. What do you make of that?
Well, I mean, of course, one of the goals near the end, there was a goalkeeper mistake. City's goalkeeper, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, I think he rather rashly kicked the ball or threw the ball straight down the middle, supposedly to one of his players, and it went to the opposition. And once you give a ball like that to a team like Real Madrid, I mean, it was almost a certain goal, and so it turned out to be. So when you get, I mean, it's tough on goalkeepers, because being the last line of defence, of course, if they make a bad howler, then usually there's a goal scored. Whereas players on the field, they make a mistake and it often no consequence. But yeah, it doesn't help. And the look on Guardiola's face when that happened, I mean, he was crestfallen, wasn't he? He was just in bits. And I mean, and I noticed Haaland at the end as well. You don't often see a footballer who looks like he's about to burst into tears and cry, but it almost was like he was crying with probable disbelief that they managed somehow to lose that game. But yeah, I don't really know, none of us really know what is causing this so almost sudden downturn in Manchester City's performances this season. Most of us thought, they'll get the 5th consecutive Premier League title, because who is there to challenge them? The others, I mean, Arsenal obviously were the main one, more than Liverpool even. As it turns out this season, Liverpool so far are doing the best, because Arsenal are not quite the same dominating team, I think, that they have been the last season or two. So they're having their issues, but not as much as Manchester City. I wish I could come up with the theory, except the changes in their defence. Obviously, they've lost Walker, haven't they? Carl Walker. But then it wasn't a one-man defence. I noticed that in the crowd there was Rodri last night. He was there watching, and it would be good for them when they get him back, because he's such a dominating figure in their defence and midfield. So that's clearly an issue. They have had lots of injuries as well. And Grealish, of course, he came a bit of a cropper, didn't he, at the end of it all? He's not had a great season, and he's not had many starts either. So I don't know. I never think it's the spirit. I think there's always a good spirit amongst the players and Pep at Man City. I think they're very together, but somehow it's just not firing on all cylinders. And as you say, these things go up and they come down again. It's peaks and troughs. And when you think of Manchester United, for those years, really, from the 90s and the noughties, they dominated everything. They were the top team, and nobody, or very few, could get anywhere near.
Soft family and the ladies, Dr. Gladys and Phantom and Rose. We all have a lovely show every weekday. So join us for a lovely show.
Say hello to Phantom, Dr. Glass.
And when you think of Manchester United, for those years, really, from the 90s and the noughties, they dominated everything. They were the top team, and nobody, or very few, could get anywhere near them. But they then, once Ferguson retired, we all know what happened. They've not really been able to find a manager to begin to carry on where he left off. They will do eventually, I expect. So yeah, it's hard to think why these things happen, but you just, that is football. That's what makes it the game it is. It's not played by robots. It's played by fallible people, humans, very good, talented footballers for the most part, but no one has a monopoly of always winning, and that's the magic of it, isn't it?
Yeah. So at the same time, whilst the champions, whilst Manchester City and Real Madrid was playing, there was another interesting match going on, wasn't it? And then saw the highlights afterwards, and it's the one between Nottingham Forest and Exeter City. I don't know if you saw the
Exeter took the lead, didn't they? Yeah, I didn't watch it, but they took the lead, I think, Exeter, didn't they?
They
Initially.
did. Well, Exeter was the better side. And I was quite surprised. Yeah, I was quite surprised because Nottingham City, I've always respected them this season, especially. I thought they've been really good. But then the class came through during the penalty shootout. That's where that's when the class came out. That's where the inexperience in Exeter City started showing. So I think there was one player played it against the bar, and another one just played it straight to the goalkeeper's hands. But yeah, they did struggle last night, and I actually thought they were going out of the FA Cup. It was the fourth round, wasn't it? Qualifying to then get into the fifth round, and I watched that, and I thought there was a player that stood out for me, and I've never ever heard his name before, and he was called McGuinness, but he's on the Exeter City side, and he was the one that actually scored the 2 goals, and he's also the captain of Exeter City.
Right.
And I thought, players like that, they belong in the Premier League. That guy belongs in the Premier League because he was outstanding. It was outstanding last night. So that's that. I believe the fixtures for the fifth round is out now, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah, but the one that surprised everyone,
Southend and the ladies, Dr. Gladys and Phantom and Rose. We all have a lovely show every weekday, so join us for a lovely show.
Say hello to Phantom.